I'm just so excited and proud to introduce our guest speaker here. Dale Lear, I've known since working through Ohio Christian University and doing the Young Entrepreneurs Academy there and the launch of the Ohio Christian University Business Innovation Center, which is an entrepreneur center that was developed on OCU's campus. And Dale Lear was a instructor there in the entrepreneurial area and business area, and just got to be friends and helped with the Young Entrepreneurs Academy program, and just over time just been a great resource and a great friend to help others to reach their dreams with business and entrepreneurship. And he wanted to start something new, and so we said, "Good golly, yeah, please come and share it with the noble audience." So Dale, we're so privileged to have you here today, and thank you so much for joining us and sharing this opportunity.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much. I appreciate Noble. Thank you. Appreciate y'all coming. Saturday morning in middle of the summer, or beginning of summer, I guess it is. But really glad to have you all here. I appreciate that. And before we go too far, need to get this working. Okay, I'm going to need technical assistance. I pushed the forward button and it went on. Okay, this is where I wanted to be. Thank you. Okay, before we start, I want to keep everything in the right priority. This is one of my favorite business Bible verses. Okay, Mark 8:36. Sorry. Board there, you can't see. It says, "But for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" So that's helps me keep things in perspective. We need to keep in mind what we're doing and why, and not let that desire for success get away from us. Okay. Now, cowbell. I collect cowbells. All right, cowbell. Does anybody remember April 8th, 2000? Okay, Christopher Walken was on Saturday Night Live. Okay, and they had a little skit. You'll have to look it up. I mean, believe me, it's way too long to show. I thought about it. But anyway, the cowbell, to me, it keeps my blood pumping, keeps creative juices flowing, energy, excitement, gusto is a good word. Love cowbell, okay? And I took the little clapper out because I wanted to be in control of my cowbell. But anyway, we're going to have door prizes here in a little bit, and some lucky person is going to win a cowbell. And a cowbell whacker. So, okay. And first, we've got several books. We have a published author with us, Jeff Elder. He's one of his books will be one of our prizes. Renee Bedore is with us online. I have one of her books to give away. And then some of my other favorite books. Now, keep in mind, I used to carry books in my car, and I'd find someone who I thought should read this book, and I'd give them the book. And at the time, it was Millionaire Fastlane. MJ DeMarco, has anybody heard of him? Okay. And I started giving those things away. A guy beside me at the gas pumps in Kroger, I got talking to him, and the last one I had, and I had it highlighted, he got the shortcuts, he didn't have to highlight his own book. But I gave him the last one I had. I bought more. Then I started running into people that I had given the book to. You read the book? No. And I'm like, come on, I paid for that. I gave it to you for a reason. But they had nothing in it, right? No investment. So I quit giving them away, and I just started telling people about it. You should read this. So I carry less. I'm not upset if, I told you about that book, to read it. No, okay, when you get time, read it. Because I felt like, we'll give it back then. I'll give it to somebody that will read it. But if someone, what I'm getting at here at this point is if someone does something for you, acknowledge it, you know? And I mean, maybe it's the craziest idea or something you ever heard of, so be careful. But anyway, you get a chance to look this up. It's a fun little skit. And don't be sending me cowbells. I've got enough. I've got plenty. I almost came dressed like this, okay? My hat, my robe, my medal, that's a small business honor society. I was president of that organization for a few years, Sigma Beta Delta. That's what the medal is for. And my pointer, I've got an official pointer. I mean, it's official.
There you go.
Isn't that neat? I was hoping that I'd see Chaz's Porsche or whatever he's driving now, and I'd get another pointer while he wasn't looking, but anyway. If you want to take a shortcut, you can get another pointer for like $2, you know, down at Menards and scratch your back at the same time. Anyway, why would I be dressed like that? Okay. And I'll tell you why. If this were a big hall, 20 rows of 50, okay, you guys are business casual, that's all good. Would you notice me if I came walking in? Would you remember? Okay, if you went into an exhibit hall that had all these tables of people offering stuff for sale, and there's some guy that's about 6 foot tall and 200 and some pounds, okay, would you notice? Okay, so if you see me in that area, I want your attention. But see, you won't forget that. Okay, now, do you remember this guy?
Mhm.
Who is he?
Colonel.
Colonel Sanders. Real colonel? Like military?
Yeah.
How did he get the colonel name? He's a Kentucky colonel, okay? The governor gives them away. Governor of Kentucky gives them away. What you do, you know, did you do something fun? Did you do something, you know, who cares? Yeah, you're a Kentucky colonel. He did have military experience, though. When he was 16, he lied about his age, went through basic training. They sent him to Cuba, found out that he was only 16. So he had 3 months in the military. Okay. Interesting history. His outfit here, I took that picture on the wall of one of his KFC restaurants. Do you know that this fella has been dead and gone since 1980? Okay, what's that, 43 years almost. And you still know who he is. Okay, you remember him. Okay, now, you guys ever been to Key West? Chaz, I know you've been there. Did you run into this guy? This guy is alive and well, okay?
I didn't meet the guy, but
You had some of his key lime pie, that's great. He does key lime pie on a stick, coated in dark chocolate, coated in strawberry, coated in vanilla. And what's he doing here? Is he building an image? Okay, he'll probably be gone for 40 years and there'll be people still going, where's Kermit's key lime pie? You know, I want some key lime pie. And you see he's got his caricature drawing there, and it'll probably change from real pictures to just the caricature when he's gone. Okay, now, my deal is, I'm going to start through here, and I have 15 years experience, 5 years University of Rio Grande. I taught night classes, I taught Saturday classes, adult education at High Christian. I taught 15 years there full time. And I'm telling you, I could look at a class like this, and within a few weeks, I would go, that guy probably shouldn't be here. That guy probably shouldn't be here. That girl back there is wasting her time and money. Okay. And so I got thinking about that, you know, and I started doing research. And do you need a degree? I'm sorry. But do you? We have an employee of Ohio Christian University here, but I'm not knocking going to college, but does everybody need it? I mean, you can't be a counselor without college, or a lot of things you can't do without college. College doesn't hurt. It's good social connections, lots of things like that. But I got to thinking as I was standing in front of my class, what if I boiled down this class and only taught what I really thought they should know? Okay. And I could probably do the class in 3 or 4 meetings, maybe 5. Do you agree? A lot of you have been in college classes, you know what I'm talking about, okay? But there's such a thing as accreditation. I was on the accreditation board for several years, professor evaluation board for several years. I go listen to professors. Are they doing a good job? Are they doing what the accreditors say they should do? Do we have enough homework assigned? All that stuff that, you know, is everything being done the way it should be done so these students are getting out of it what they should? Okay. Now, personally, I don't believe in homework. Okay. And it was tough. And also, I believe that if you're done with your hour and 20-minute class, if you're done at an hour and 15, send them on. Okay. I don't know how many times I got in trouble for that. Okay.
Where were you?
Yeah. That's one reason I was one of the favorites, I think. I like to think I was one of the favorites. Yeah, thank you. Okay. But so anyway, I thought, why don't I prepare classes that I've taught with what you really need to know? So I wrote a book and had this thing published. I've got copies of it that just came in yesterday. This was my proof copy. I approved it. I mean, I had it checked and double checked by my executive helpers there, my daughter and my son and my wife. They looked over and said, it looks good to me. So, you know, away we went. And I don't think there were misspellings or anything like that. But in this 158 page book are 15 classes: Intro to Business, Business Management, Finance, Statistics, what I, as a professor, thought that you should have got out of those classes. Okay. Now, am I going to try to fight college and stand out front going, you don't need college, you know? And no, that's not my thing. It's not my style. But some things that I found out when I started doing this research is there are about 3.6 million in the U.S. high school seniors. Okay, so what happens to them? Well, I found out that 15% don't graduate high school. Okay, could they use my book? Okay, that's 540,000 customers for my book. I have a couple of extras, but let me finish before you volunteer. It's a textbook. This is not 1995. Okay. When I first started with this idea, I met with business people. What do you want your employees to know when they get here? When you hire them, what do you want them to know? And, you know, one of the real famous sayings was that there was a new hire and he went in and it's like the manager saying first thing off, he said, I want you to forget everything you learned in college. Okay. And the new employee goes, I didn't go to college. Well, you're not qualified for this job then. Does that make sense? Yeah, it doesn't to me. But there are a lot of things out there. Let's get back to the numbers here. 15% don't graduate. 40% don't go on to college. Okay, that's 1.2 million. Boy, would I like to sell each one of them this book. Yes. Okay. Do you know that 30% of them drop out either during or after the first year? Okay, that's another 1.2 million. Okay. So, and a sad statistic is that 60% of first-year college students have to take remedial classes. And do y'all understand what remedial is? It's like intro to math. Okay, I failed it till they found out I didn't have a math degree. Then I couldn't teach people how to add, subtract, divide, and multiply. Okay, I teach business math, fine. Okay, but they have to pay the normal price, but they don't get college credit for it because it's catching up what they didn't learn in high school. Okay, isn't that a shame? Okay, so that is kind of a pet peeve that I don't know what to do about it, you know? And another one that I'll just throw in is that, you know, the big college debt thing is in the news all the time right now. And, you know, it's huge, what, 1.7 trillion or something like that. And I'm not for forgiveness, because what about all those people that skimped and saved and worked and all that stuff? But my thought is these 17-year-olds were sitting down with professional salespeople and sign here, you know, and everything will be paid for. Oh, yes, and the government will pay more than what you need to go to school here. So what do you want us to do with the refund? Refund? Yeah, I mean, it's $30,000 a year to go to school. The government says we'll give you up to $36,000. Where do you want the $6,000 to go? Do you want me to give it back? Or do you want that refund? They actually use the word refund. And I brought this up in faculty meetings. I'm like, this is a disservice. You know, we need to quit calling that refund. This is a loan that they're going to pay who knows how much interest on. Okay, so that's part of what's bumping the cost of college up, is that they're taking these refunds. I had an entrepreneurial student who was taking the refund and buying used cars and reselling them. She was an entrepreneur, all right? I mean, fantastic. And I bet she doesn't have college debt right now. She's married, first child due any day now. Okay, so I mark her up as one of my successes, you know, and how neat is that? But I'm wondering, just, and I'll get off of this, but maybe the best thing to do would be, okay, you got 10 years to pay this back with no interest, and then we'll start charging you interest. Okay, you took the money to get educated, probably really needed it, but did you need all of it? You know, and you 17-year-old against a professional salesperson, is this fair? I have problems with that, you know, I really do. Okay, so I developed this as a course, okay, and when you're done with this, I have a final exam that goes with this, covers all 15 subjects, a final exam that goes with it. You send that back to me, I grade it. If you do 80% or better, I'll write you up a transcript of classes completed. I'll give you a certificate of completion. Is it good for college credit? No. Can you apply it toward your college degree? No. Okay, but it is something you've completed. Now, Jeff Elder here is a marketing expert, and I went to Jeff and said, you know, what's the best way for me to promote that? He said, I think you need to go to the corporate people that are hiring people and have them make this a requirement, or at least suggestion that they complete this course, okay? Now, I was showing it to another businessman. He goes, what are you going to pay for that? What will the cost be? And I said, I've got it designed to be like $900, $950, you know, something like that. I said, but I think I'll do an intro for $750. And he said, I want the first one. $750. You know, I'm like, you already got your degree. He goes, it wasn't in business. So is that another marketing opportunity for me? If you have an education degree or psychology, whatever, could you use a few business classes? Okay. And you know, the professors in education, I used to teach them economics, and we'd go to meetings and the professors in education would go, we need to replace that economics class with something teacher related. And I'm like, no, you really don't. I mean, economics and that's it. And they've got to go through real life, not knowing how to balance their checkbook and, not knowing how to make financial decisions or anything like that. They need more business. Of course, I was selling business. They were selling education. I was pressing for more business all the time. Okay. So, I understand where they were coming from. But anyway, I thought through this a little bit, and I think my whole course is going to be $369. Okay. And I've decided to sell the book alone if someone wants the book. It's not full of pictures, diagrams, illustrations. I mean, this is the meat and potatoes. It's like, this is finance. This is what you need to know. And once I took my cost and put in some cost of marketing, put in a little bit of profit, I'm going to sell these for $77. Okay, good round. 7 is a good lucky number, right? So 77. So that's what this will be. So it'll be up here if anyone wants to look at it. That's fine.
Well, congratulations on it.
Appreciate that. Okay. Now, speaking of the cost of college, one thing I forgot is how much does it really cost to go to college? If you go 4 years, could you have 150,000 invested? Easily enough, couldn't you? Okay. Did you miss any work opportunities when you were in college? Okay. You couldn't work full time, or if you did, boy, the pressure. So what you lose, another 100,000 over 4 years, being conservative. So we're looking at $250,000 invested for a college degree, roughly, right? Okay. So what we have to get to is where we don't need a degree. And forgive me for reading a little bit, but a new book had just came out from Professor Isa Ali Pantami. And this is what he says briefly in his book. I looked at it and on Amazon, and I went to read the sample, and it looks like a doctoral dissertation. Okay, I mean, wow. But 10 points where in today's rapidly changing world, academic qualifications alone are no longer enough to secure a successful career. Skills are the new currency on the job market, and those who possess them are the ones most likely to succeed. We must invest in vocational education and training to ensure that our workforce has the skills needed to compete in a global economy. The future belongs to those that can adapt, innovate, and learn new skills quickly and efficiently. A skills-based education system will not only benefit individuals, but also businesses, industries, and economy as a whole. We need a paradigm shift from degree-focused education to one that focuses on developing practical skills and competencies. Employers today are looking for candidates who can hit the ground running with the skills and knowledge needed to success in their roles. Time we rethink our approach to education and prioritize the development of practical skills that can be applied to the real world. Skills are key to unlocking opportunities, driving innovation, creating a brighter future for all. In the modern workplace, success depends not on what degree you have, but on what skills you bring to the table. Okay, so that is a summary. And you remember Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs? I kind of feel like he started this. Okay, and Dirty Jobs, he was like showing, what some people have to do, and and he came off with this: do you need college to be successful? And he's been pushing this. He's been pushing vocational schools, which, I think is a great thing. If as a freshman, sophomore, you know that you want to be an electrician or whatever, go right into that vocational school, get what you need, and move on. And, I told you about standing in front of the class and this person shouldn't be here, that person shouldn't be here. And, when I'm Facebook friends with several of my students, past students, and one's an electrician, one drives a truck, one is 35 years old, lives in his mom's basement, and he's scanning food to save a lot with his college degree. Okay, you think he's gonna take a while to pay off his school loans? Okay, he's probably hoping for total forgiveness, but everybody doesn't need to go to college. And like I say, lots and lots do. And it's a good place to network, make connections. All three of my kids went to college, and I think life would be different if they hadn't. They get valuable skills there. There's just no question about it. But do we need it every time? So that's my thought along that line. And let's go to the next. Yeah. So cognitive dissonance. Okay, a long word for buyer's remorse. Okay, did I make the right decision? And I don't know if you can read that, but the guy's sitting there in his cubby hole, and there's a sign that says 192 days until vacation and 31 years until my loans are paid. And in the little thought bubble there, it says, I just spent $150,000 in 4 years of my life for this privilege. Yeah, okay, so something to think about. Anyway, sure I haven't missed anything. My good friend Elon Musk here says a dream written down with a date becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan backed by action becomes reality. Okay, now whatever you make up your mind to do, take some kind of action. Let's get moving. I mean, even if it's really small, take some kind of action. Okay, do something, get it going. Okay. Now, we have a warning here. Do you see what's under that balloon? There's a tack. Okay, somebody inflated that balloon. They puffed and puffed and puffed and puffed. Okay, and I look at those puffs, like thoughts and ideas and goals and things that I want to do in my business. Okay, and you build up this balloon. Who is the needle here? Help me out. Who could it be?
Ego.
It could be ego. Fear of the unknown. I'm afraid to start my own business. What if I fail? What will my family think? How will I do without income if it fails? That sort of thing. But we need to be aware of those dangers and do it anyway. Give it a try. And see what happens. I remember my dad, he finished 5th grade and had to go to work on the farm and help with that. And but an opportunity came for him to buy a ice cream shop. Yeah, okay. And my mom was the needle. And it worked. He didn't do it, But I wonder how our whole family's life. I mean, I have 2 older sisters, 2 older brothers, and I think way back then, my sisters would have got experience. My oldest brother would have got experience in business if my mom hadn't talked him out of it. Not blaming mom. She was, we want security. We want to make sure that we get that check every week, every other week, whatever it was. And, they did well for us. They invested well. They bought some real estate and, they had a comfortable retirement. Everything's fine. But I just wonder how the family situation, the dynamic between all of us, if we've been in there working, and, if I'd grown up at this little ice cream shop, I'd probably be a little bigger, but how might that have been different? But anyway, my advice at this point is listen to them and move on. Okay. Thanks for your sharing. Thanks for your concern. But we're going to do this. Okay. Now, I've got a few tips here. There are different ways of getting in business. You can start a business from scratch. Most of my working career was in photography. I had a total of 5 photography studios, West Virginia and Ohio. And some of them I started from scratch and some of them I bought. And the ones that I bought were not being managed very well. I mean, I walked in, the windows were dirty, everything was dusty, the pictures in the windows had faded to green. It was like, wow. And the owner was back and had a coffee cup that was dark brown on the inside. The spoon was stuck to the saucer, smoking a pipe and just having a good old time. And I'm like, are you ready to retire? And he goes, yeah, but this gives me something to do and some place to go and all that. You ever think about selling out? Okay, so the first one that I bought, it wasn't like that. It was a going business. And I worked for him and he started having health problems and asked me if I wanted to buy it. And I'm just like, sure. And money was easy back then. I mean, I walked into the bank, no cosigner, no anything. And I lived with my mom and dad and said, I need enough money to buy this guy's business. And oh yeah, throw in enough that I can change the name on the sign. And that's how I got started in my first business. Okay. And moved along. And let me throw in another thing about my first house. I looked around for houses and I found one that had been for sale for about a year. And I talked to the real estate guy and I said, I want to offer him half of what he's asking and I need him to finance it for me. Okay. And I'll give him $4,000 down, but I'll pay 10% interest if he finances it. And at the time, interest was like 7, 8, something like that. So it wasn't a big deal. And he goes, "You're going to make him mad." And I'm like, "If I make the offer, you have to present it to him, don't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "That's my offer." He called me the next day and said, "You got a house." Okay. And I'm like, "Hey, that's great. We're not going to get $4,000. I hadn't totally thought this through, but I had my car paid for. So I just go down to the bank and I slide my title across the loan officer's desk. And I said, "Will you give me $4,000 on this?" And he goes, "Sure." So he just took it and put it in the safe. He didn't file on it. I mean, whatever they do, I could have gone to the title office and said, "I lost my title, make me another," and I could have sold the car or whatever. But so I had 2 payments to make, didn't I? I had a $4,000 payment and then I had the house payment, both to make. Okay. But the whole idea here is don't be afraid to make an offer. As crazy as it may seem, what would have happened? The real estate guy may meet with me and go, he said no. I'm like, okay, no big deal. I'll keep looking. What would I have lost? That I got my first house that way. Half of what he'd asked for. And they'd already dropped it because it'd been for sale for over a year. Okay. But the fellow that owned it was retired and his wife's parents lived there. They both passed away. So he was having to pay the utility bills and having to mow the grass and, all this stuff. So he got out of all that. Okay. And, they got it moved. He didn't have to worry about it anymore. Okay. And I did the same thing with one of the studios that I bought. I was like, if you'll finance it, I'll buy it. You'll have regular monthly income. Now, the first guy that I bought out, he said, "Boy, I wish I'd financed that for you." And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." He said that I had to give IRS half the money. And that hurt me because, man, I paid for that and half of it didn't even go to you, But he had to capital gains, how all that works. If you don't, buy my book. Is that a selfless commercial? But anyway, okay. So let me ask you this. I'm not going to ask for details to pin you down or embarrass you, but how many of you are doing an entrepreneurial thing right now where you've actually taken in some cash this year? You got something going on, even if it's a side job or, your book. Okay, how many of you have an idea of something you want to start, but you just haven't done it yet? that you're about ready to go. Okay, some of you raised your hand both times, okay? So you need to get the things going, don't you? I mean, it's like this, my book, I mean, I started thinking about that like 2 years ago. And through family connections and all that, I was fortunate enough that after I retired, got to spend some time in Key West. So I outlined that book and wrote the first 50 pages sitting on a porch at 940 Terry Lane, I believe it was, right across from the Key West Lighthouse. And boy, talk about inspiration. And I could see Ernest Hemingway's house from there. Y'all never been to Key West, you need to go. If you have, convince my wife that we should move there. Now, something that I want to explain to you, there are all kinds of multi-level marketing things out there. Are y'all familiar with that? Okay. I can't even, Excel telecommunications, Jesse and I were involved in that. And are you an entrepreneur when you get in multi-level marketing?
Sure.
No? Okay. You making all your decisions? You deciding how much to sell this item for? No. You deciding whether to discontinue the fruit punch flavored, whatever it is? No. Okay. They make you all kinds of promises. You set the prices? No. None of that stuff. So, Jesse, how long ago was that we were in Excel? You were
17, something like that.
Okay, and you're 19 now.
Yeah. 2000.
Okay, so about 20 years. I'm still getting mailers at home about multi-level marketing things in his name. And part of the deal is we provide fresh mailing list. Really? Why is he on there? I mean, it's been over 20 years and he's part of a fresh mailing list. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 a year. I'm talking like every month we've got 4 or 5. I used to save them for him and he's like pitching. Now I read them and they got some new slant or something like that. And a buddy of mine is like, I'm making $10,000 a month. I'm like, yeah, show me the check. He got mad at him and quit. A $10,000 a month business deal, and you just get angry and quit. Okay. And one other thing, I went to this seminar, and I mean, it was packed full. And the guy told about hang in there. He had a meeting and had all these prospects invited, and nobody showed up. But one person showed up just to get the free snacks, and how disappointing it was, and all this stuff. But he went home, and there he saw his daughter asleep. He said, "I got to do this for her." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go do this." Okay, I went to another totally unrelated thing, and there was a person there who had a meeting. Nobody showed. He went home and saw his daughter asleep. I'm like, somebody's lying here. We're figuring this thing out. You both did that. Interesting. Yeah, it was not the same guy. It wasn't the same business. Okay. And I imagine somebody's making money out of it. I don't know. If you want to try it, you go right ahead. But just keep an open mind that you're not an entrepreneur. You have a job. And Excel telecommunications, I think my top check was around $500 a month. Top. I mean, it was tough. And then the guy that ran the whole thing was just like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Wait a minute, you promised you would never give this up. Multi-millionaire, And he was just like, had enough hassle. See ya.
Wow.
It was over. Bang, done. Just like that. Was I an entrepreneur at that point? No, I wasn't. Okay, franchises, they do a lot for you, but you're still paying percentage. You can't charge your own price. I mean, it gets on what hours, where you're located. Just keep an open mind. okay? And I don't mean to sound so down about everything today. What I'm trying to do is just get you to think, okay? Is this a good idea or is it not, okay? So the basics here today are innovation, creativity, and disruption. And that's part of the open mind, thinking, don't rule anything out. You may think that your future business is going to look like this, and it totally does not. And that's okay. Go with what works, and you'll find that out. GPS, I mean, do they take you on the wrong route sometimes? Yeah, Becky, my wife is here, and boy, we have had some experiences, haven't we? GPS took us in the middle of a cemetery one time. I mean, in the cemetery.
Maybe that was.
Maybe, that could be. There's a message on this stone. Yeah, in Key West, there's a message on one of the stones that you need to look up. It says, "I told you I was sick." It's really there. E. Roberts. You make it go down to the graveyard and look it up. Did you see it, Chad?
I didn't see that.
You missed that one? Yeah, I told you I was sick. Okay. Now, creativity, and I missed that somewhere. But innovation refers to creation, implementation, new ideas, strategy, products, services, processes within an organization with the goal of improving its overall performance. It could be product innovation, process innovation, business model innovation, organizational innovation, marketing innovation. And then we'll go to, that was innovation, creativity. Business creativity refers to the ability to generate original and valuable ideas, solutions, or concepts within a business context. Involves thinking outside the box, breaking free from patterns and exploring innovative approaches to problem solving, decision making, and strategy development. This can be idea generation, problem solving, risk taking, collaboration, continuous learning. Then business disruption. This is my favorite. Okay, I like disruption. It refers to significant and often sudden change or disturbance in the way industries, markets, organizations operate, challenging established norms, practices, business models, involves introduction of innovative technologies, processes, or ideas that fundamentally alter the way products, services are produced, delivered, or consumed, causing a significant shift in competitive landscape. Excuse me. Could be technological advancement, displacement of incumbents. Y'all know what an incumbent is? We think of it as somebody that's there now, a politician or whatever, but an incumbent could be the change of the market players. They may be slow to respond. Okay, and a lot of big businesses, you're afraid of challenging big business. Okay, they are so slow to respond because they have to get everybody together for a meeting, and a meeting about the meeting, and a meeting about what to talk about and about the meeting. Okay, they are so slow that it's incredible. Change in customer expectations, new value propositions, redefinition of industry boundaries. Okay, so when I started putting this program together, I could see talking about innovation and having all these things neatly categorized, talking about creativity, and the same thing with that. And then I realized there's such an overlap here, okay, that I'm just going to tell you what I think and let you sort it out. Okay, does it have to be in a category? Innovation, creativity, disruption? Who cares? As long as you're aware and reactive. Okay, and even with all of this, is there a place for the old stuff? Okay, if everybody's moving away, maybe I should stay and make my specialty the old way. Okay, we live in southeastern Ohio, about 2 hours from here, and the Amish, we have a lot of Amish neighbors. Yep, you can sit on our porch and clip clop, they do driving by every day. Okay, but they're selling nuts, they're selling homemade butter, they're growing vegetables, and they don't have modern machinery. They have horses. While we're up here, they come and feed our dog. Okay, water our flowers. They take care of the house while we're gone on vacation and stuff. And great neighbors. Couldn't ask for anything better. But do they worry about innovation, creativity, and disruption? Okay, I don't think so. Okay, but they're doing fine. So what I'm getting at is open your mind. Maybe this isn't the new stuff. Okay. Wow. What about artificial intelligence? Okay, is that the thing? Okay, I don't, as a business professor, I mean, one thing I would never do is recommend that you go do something, but here's the thing. If you wish that you had been invested in Apple years ago, or Microsoft, or Tesla, or whatever all these new things are, artificial intelligence, okay, is what in 20 years you're going to wish that you had invested in. Okay, here's the problem. Which company? I have no idea. I don't. Check them out. If you want to make an investment, this is an exciting thing. I went to a sample, to sample a site, and this is what I put in. Write me a song about the beach. Okay, it wrote an entire song in like 30 seconds. And I'm like, write me another one with a little more Jimmy Buffett feeling. Yeah, okay, it wrote me another song. Okay, with more about the beach and boats and stuff. I mean, just poof. And if you Google that and enter it, would it come up? No, it created it. Okay. If I were a business professor now, would I be thinking everybody in here is going to use artificial intelligence, do their homework, okay, to write their papers? Okay, what would I do about that? A few of us in this room have a little gray. Okay, when you were in college, did you use a blue book? Even the younger ones saying, yes, you know what a blue book is? Okay, it's several sheets of paper bound with a plain blue cover, and write your name on it. And when you come into class, it's like, here's your test, write it in the book that I have provided for you. Okay, are they going to use artificial intelligence? Probably going to use no intelligence, but anyway. Hopefully they're prepared. If I were still teaching, I would be going back to blue books, I think. This, I've taught you what's in this, you're supposed to have read it. Okay, here are the questions. They're on the board. When you're finished, you're done today. Okay, I don't know, that is just the first thing that popped into my mind. If you really want to measure, and isn't that the idea with tests? I had a professor from India one time, first day, it's like, there will be no tests in this class. And everybody's like, yay, but we will have measuring devices. They were tests. He wanted to measure what we had got, and that's okay. That's a good thing. Kept us on our toes. So I think that is probably needed. I don't know at this point what else we would do. But I mean, even at a Christian university, I got to tell you, there were one or two I ran into that, I don't think you wrote this. So I don't know. Anyway, okay. I know a lot of professors are worried about cheating and that sort of thing. And there are news articles regularly about that. Okay, now let me tell you a big secret here. Value. Value is the true secret to success. Okay, you have to provide some kind of value. If you don't, somebody else will. Okay, if you go to work for someone, they pay you $10 an hour. Hopefully, no one in this room is making $10 an hour. But if they pay you $10 an hour, should you earn $10 an hour? In my opinion, you better earn more than that. Okay. My idea is to provide over and above value. If you are working for someone, and something you have to keep in mind, something that most employees don't think about is it costs about 40% extra to have an employee, to pay an employee. Okay, you know what I mean? If you are paying them $10, what does it cost you? About 14. Okay, $20 an hour costs you about 8. You have workman's compensation to pay. You have unemployment. You can't take that out of their checks. Okay, you pay that. It's a percentage of their payroll. Okay. You have to match their Social Security. I think it's 7.62%, isn't it? You take out of the employee's check, but you have to put another 7.62 in of company money. Okay, you have to match that. So you have to keep these things in mind when you hire people, but that's all a part of the value. If I were to take a job now, I would make sure that I was there at least 5 minutes early. Okay, lunch break. Okay, I'd finish what I was doing. Everybody else is gone. I'd leave 5 minutes after lunch started. I'd be back 5 minutes early. Okay, the whistle blows 5 o'clock. I'd be there at least 5 to 5. Okay, and that kind of thing gets noticed. Okay, and that's adding value. As entrepreneurs, though, we need to think about what values are we offering, and what did the people that we want for customers, what do they have to do to get the money that they're giving us for our product or service? Okay. I had a high school senior girl come in for her portraits, and she worked for her aunt. This has been several years ago. That her aunt paid her $5 an hour. The girl, and she said, "I've been saving my money to buy my senior portraits." And she said, "I got $600." That kid worked 120 hours to get her senior pictures. Her mom and dad couldn't afford it, and they're like, we'll pay the session fee, and we want to make them attend, and we just have that money. And she's like, "I want stuff to give away. I want grandma and grandpa to have this and this and this." And she bought a $550 package plus tax. And she knew when she came in exactly what she wanted. Okay. And at that time, I felt like I was offering her value. I mean, look what she had to do, 120 hours in a little country store for her little bag full of pictures, paper. It is incredible. Okay. Another thing, value is not always monetary. Chaz is like, "What are you doing with a pair of binoculars?" Okay. I used to manage a Cord camera store. Okay. And I was the top binocular salesman east of the Mississippi. Okay. Nikon used to send me parkas, and belt packs were big then. I've got Nikon belt packs. I've got Nikon hats. They sent me all this Nikon stuff because I sold more binoculars than anybody else. Okay. You know how I did that? I learned how to use these things. Okay. This is 12 by 25. 25 is how many millimeters? This is from here to here, about an inch. Okay. The bigger this is, the more light it gathers. Okay. It's 12 by 25. 12 is the magnification. Okay. If you see something way over there, it looks like an inch. You look through here, it should look 12 inches. Okay. That's how powerful it is. All right. Now, how in the world do you focus these things? Okay. You close your right eye, and then you use the main focusing knob just to get your left eye in focus. You close your left eye, and then you use this fine-tune thing, and that matches the difference between your eyes. That's what I told people. I did tell them something else around Christmas time, though. A guy would come in, and he'd go, "Man, I don't know what I'm my family." And I'm like, "How about binoculars?" I said, "Do you do hunting, fishing? You look at wildlife." "Oh, you need Nikon's nitrogen filled, for yourself. They won't fog up. They got that nitrogen in there. You don't get that condensation on the lenses." Okay. But do you hand your binoculars to somebody else and then they change the focus and then you got to change it back? When you get it, okay, you need to buy your wife a binocular. How many kids you got? Not the nitrogen filled. I mean, I've had people say, give me all five, give me all five. Got 3 kids, you know? Ka-ching. How easy was that? I mean, I told you in a couple of minutes what I told them and became the top salesman. You know, they're not. Is that value? What if I said, you need to buy binoculars, you know, $800-900, you can wipe out your whole list. They run out of there. No. I gave him value. I gave him knowledge. Gave him a nice pair of binoculars too for himself. Okay. When I was photographing weddings, I'm going to brag a little bit here. It's okay. I'm up here. Nobody stop me, right? Okay. A girl called me and I knew her. She was not a close friend, but acquaintance. And I'm getting married. I want you to do the pictures. I'm like, oh, great. You know, that's fantastic. What's the date? And she told me, and I'm, oh man, I got a wedding that day. What about the week before? I'm like, what? And she said, no, really. She said, I'll talk to my husband to be and see. And I'm like, I'm booked. She said, what about the week after? I'm like, you gotta be kidding. Okay. So, yep, I'm open. Okay. I did her wedding. Okay. Then a month or 2 later, a girl came in and she goes, I want you to do my wedding pictures. Now, when's the date? She said, when can you do it? I'm like, what? You're going to let me set your wedding date? She said, yeah, I was a bridesmaid for the other girl. Okay. I know how busy you are. Okay. So value, they saw value in having me do the pictures, didn't they? I mean, who lets a photographer set their wedding date? Now, are you serious? You know, I couldn't believe it. Okay. Mentioned that. Okay. Now, here's something fun. I didn't get my gallon of water. I asked several people, and I had a gallon of water. You all know what they look like. This is an optic lesson here, but I don't have my gallon. What's a gallon of water cost? 99 cents, $2, 128 ounces in a gallon, I believe. Okay, y'all okay with that? Okay, we want to make more money. What do? We divide it into 16 ounces, right? And we get, I forgot how many we get. We ate 16 ounces, right? I think that works out mathematically. So how much do these cost? 99 cents to $2. So we're up to $16 maybe for that gallon of water. You ain't seen nothing yet. Okay. This is fun. I want to make some money with my gallon of water. What if I put a little salt in it to match the consistency of tears? Okay. This is 1/2 ounce. I paid $5.99 for this. Okay. There are 256 of these in 1 gallon of water. Okay. At $5.99 comes to $1,533.44 for a gallon of water. This opening your mind a little bit? Who had this idea? Who figured out the chemical consistency of tears is what I want to know. Some scientists going, make the baby cry. We'll figure this out. Okay. But keep an open mind. What can you do to something to make it different, to make it marketable, to make it worth more money? Okay. So my book, $77. Worth that? It's the meat and potatoes. Yeah, no frills. I think so. And if not, you know, they'll level up the dining room table or something. Okay. Now any questions so far? I'm open to questions anytime. Okay, can y'all see that? This is Google Earth picture. That's my house. Okay, we have a little over 81 acres, and the garden, the hayfield you see there that's mowed and around the house, around the barn, about 7 acres maybe. And so that leaves a bunch of woods, doesn't it? Okay. Would you think a guy like me would pay for firewood? No, yes, no. You know I'm up to something. Those are the people saying yes. Okay, I'm up to something, all right. Okay, family was in 2 weeks ago, I don't know, something like that. Okay, and I had the firewood stacked here and firewood stacked there, and they put it in the burn pit, and we're gonna roast hot dogs and all this stuff, and everything was soaking wet. Okay, so worked and worked and worked and worked. And we got it done. Jesse, the master fire builder there, but hey, Kroger, $4.99 for a prepackaged bundle of firewood, and yes, I paid the price. Just inside my barn door is this bundle, and I've got my Christmas bibs on there, and my hat from Peru. It has llamas dancing around it. My daughter, youngest daughter, went on a mission trip, and she brought me that hat. It's my favorite. But who would have thought that I would be a customer for firewood, would actually pay for firewood? I mean, what are they thinking? You know, 70-some acres of firewood, and believe me, some of it's horizontal. I don't want people cutting my trees. They fall. And every once in a while we hear a big crash and we know something's maturing to become firewood. But am I going to go up in the woods and cut and bring these logs down and split them to save $5? I mean, come on. Kroger gave me some value, didn't they? I mean, it was stacked right there by the gas pumps. All I do is go and say, I want some firewood, and throw it in the back of my little truck, and away we went. I'm 68 and a half years old. Would you think I'd be buying baby products? From what was in the news recently about these old movie stars who's 70 and 80 years old having babies, it makes you wonder now. But anyway, would I be a customer for baby stuff? I got 3 grandchildren. Might be. Okay. So would people market to me? Kaz, you buying baby stuff?
Yep, I.
Yes, you are. You got a brand new one, don't you? New grandchild. That's great. Okay. So again, this is all a part of having the open mind. Now, more of my family. Look at this. We have an interior decorator that comes to our house way out there in the country. Chelsea Lear design from Columbus. And she did this arrangement above our sofa in our living room. Okay. And what's different about this, okay, is what she made it easy for us. I mean, they even hung the Jessie, and she hung these things for us. But what I thought was unique is, did she decide on buying these pictures and then contacted the artist and then had to mail them to her and, and all this stuff and had to go through all that? No. What website were they on, Chelsea? Etsy. Okay, she goes to Etsy. She buys the rights to print these. Isn't that a unique way of offering your artwork? Doing nothing but putting the artwork up and saying, buy the rights to print them and knock yourself out. Okay. 8 pictures above our sofa that weren't shipped anywhere. She printed them. Because this artist, or maybe not that one in particular, but somebody had the idea, why don't we just sell the rights and tell them, print your own? Probably gonna do it anyway. But what a unique idea. No waiting for the shipping, no shipping costs involved, okay? Now, I do a lot of that front porch writing at Key West and at home, and I put this on my Christmas list one time, lap desk, okay, padded on the bottom and the wood on the top, and I got it for Christmas and everything was fine until I went to pick it up. And I reached down and I'm like this squished and the weight, and I couldn't pick the thing up with one hand because I couldn't get a grip. So I'm 2 hands, okay? And then the top opens, okay, and it had this little tiny magnet holding it shut that's about the size of the diameter of a pencil eraser. And, I set it down a little too hard and it flew open and my little highlighters and junk come falling out. And it's just like, this needs something, okay? So I adapted. I actually brought my writing desk. I go to the hardware store and buy a handle, okay? I buy 2 picture hangers, 1 for each side. I found this on an old backpack. Okay, clips right on there, real nice. Now we got to do something about this. Okay, so I go to the hardware store and I get this little latch. Okay, mount it in here, mount it down there. It's good to go. So I can put this across my shoulder, get my bicycle that I got my key list, and go down to the beach, go to the porch, wherever I want to go. But it made this manageable, okay? And I've seen them with handles on them, but no strap, no secure magnet or anything like that. So could you improve that product and sell it? Okay. And I had no idea until I really started working with it, how hard it was to work with. It was just kind of a nuisance, and can't take it down to the beach, both hands and riding a bicycle. I mean, how do you do that? I don't know, but that's something good. So we can adapt a lot of things. I need to refresh my energy here. I like energy drinks.
That's a good.
But here's the deal. Do you think there's really chocolate in here anymore? I mean, I like chocolate, but come on. But could we just adapt it? This is the strongest water bottle I've ever had. I mean, it is secure. It's heavy. Okay. Washed it out real good. There's water in here, believe me. As much as I like chocolate, I'm not that much into it. Okay. Now, let me show you something else. This little pouch, our family decided to, kids, Jesse, I think mostly, and Chelsea, would you like to go to Paris, London? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to go. Okay, let's set a date. Away we went. So we went Virgin Air. Okay, you walk on there and this pouch on the seat was a pillow and a blanket and this little pouch. Okay, I've kept everything in here. I knew it would come in handy someday. But I mean, you look at these pouches. This is a Herschel. I think these are $20-some bucks. Okay. Now, what's inside the pouch? Eye mask. If you can't sleep with the light on. If your feet get cold, socks. Noisy, got earplugs. Need to brush your teeth. There's toothpaste in this little thing and a toothbrush, ink pen. I think that's about it. Yeah, and the pouch. Is that over and above? I mean, have y'all ever been on an airline when they do that? You're lucky to get water. And they don't do peanuts anymore, do they? Too many allergies. Okay. But over and above, did it really cost them that much when compared to the cost of the tickets and everything? And Jesse, when he was making these plans, he said, "Do you like the artist Monet?" And I'm like, "Oh, one of my favorites. You want to go to his house? It's in France." I'm like, "Oh yeah." Okay. So we went to Monet's house and we got there early. I think we were about the second bus to pull in. And I hear a lawnmower. And I'm like, that's the caretaker getting everything done before the buses start rolling in. So we go over, y'all familiar with Monet, the lily pads and the pond and the arched bridge, Japanese bridge and all that. We go over to the pond that he has painted so many times. Okay, and there sits his lawnmower. So I got a picture of Monet's lawnmower. I should have put it up here, shouldn't I? But who has a picture of Monet's lawnmower? I do. Probably no other tourist was paying any attention. I think they missed out. They were doing their pictures on those bridges in front of the lily pads and everything, but I got the lawnmower. I think this is all part of opening your mind to possibilities. What's there? What do you see? What's different? Okay.
How'd you make?
Now I will. Let me do some calculating here. $77 in a free book. Can you work things like that? Why not? Okay, you buy my course for $369. Get the free book. Free book, yeah. Pretty neat. Okay, let's move on. What is up? Chris Borhall, I was hoping he could be here today, but Chris wrote this book. Lonnie, do you have the numbers? Let's give away a Chris's book. Pull a number.
Okay, so did anyone?
Anybody not get a number from Lonnie when you came in? All right, yeah, we're running close on time, so number 2.
That's me, but I already have a case, so.
Okay, would you like Guy Kawasaki Enchantment? You have
Sure.
that?
No, I don't have that.
All right, good for you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Let's draw again and give away Chris's book.
11.
11?
That's me, I have it.
You got it. Wait a minute, do you have Millionaire Fastlane?
I don't.
If I give you this, will you read it?
Add this up.
All right. Number 1?
I have.
Who's got
number 1?
Have you got Chris's book too? Okay. I should have thought that one through. What about Millionaire
I'd love
Fastlane?
to have that. I will read it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, and
Oh, well, geez. Okay, Renee Fedor, let's do another one. Let's just get rid of all these.
Number 12.
12. Get back in the middle.
I'll get it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, draw another one, Lonnie.
All right.
Let's, a cowbell and a cowbell whacker.
Oh, there you go.
17.
That's what I.
17.
Oh.
Now, I left the clapper in for you. You decide. Thank you.
So,
Give me another number.
7.
Which? Who's 7? Okay. This, have you heard the Bible verse, if you have faith, the size of a mustard seed, that you could move a mountain? Okay, I've got a little coin here with a mustard seed. Okay, I carry one in my pocket all the time, and I know, okay. Yep, there it is. Don't have me panicking now. Do another one. I still got a networking book. Let's do one more long. Oh, you did. You were asleep, weren't you?
I have 10s. Just called 10, so. we can
Oh, no.
Yeah, feel free to trade anything, who cares? Anyway, networking, if you haven't read that book, you need to read that book. Okay, and it was, he sent me an advanced copy so I could read it for him. And I'm pretty good at picking out, and I actually have a little typo in it. Those things just jump right out at me. And if it's somebody else's work, but anyway, a funny story about that. A guy gave me his book to read, and it was a science fiction, and that's not my thing, you know. Excuse me. And this was unbelievable. He wanted it to be exciting, so every sentence had an exclamation point. Every sentence in the entire book had an exclamation point. Here's the fun part. At one point, he wrote, he put his arm around her waist. W-A-S-T-E. It took that a second, didn't it? I'm like, he didn't. Yes, he did. Oh, well, that was a bummer. Okay, so a couple of connections. My wife has Uncle Lou, okay? Lou was a marketer, and I just loved talking to him. We spent a night with him down in Florida, and it was great. Uncle Lou went to Wisconsin and found a cheese company that was about ready to go out of business. Okay. And he went to them and said, if at full production, I bought every ounce of cheese that you make, how cheap could you sell it? And the guy goes, cheap, and you will save our business, you'll save all these employees being laid off. Okay, then he went to McDonald's and said, I got some cheese. Okay, so for years, I don't know if he still sells cheese to McDonald's or not. He's passed away, right? And so, but that's the kind of deal he made, open mind. Does he make cheese? He makes deals. But also, do you remember the McDonald's birthday parties? I don't know if they do those anymore or not, do they?
I remember.
Yeah. Lou invented the birthday cake for those. Okay, so every person that had a birthday party at McDonald's used to, you could, I don't know if anymore or not, but you could go and say, I'm going to have a party here. I'm going to bring 12 of my kids' best friends in. They had one of the employers entertain them and give them cake and ice cream. Every cake Lou sold. Okay, McDonald's invented that cake. So there are things like that out there, aren't there? Lots of things. Car sales. I heard about a car salesman that if you test drove a car, he gave you a half gallon of ice cream. All you had to do was test drive. Sound crazy? You going to go to another dealer and try out a car when you've got a half gallon of ice cream in there? Nope, you got to go home. Okay, so if you're not buying a car from him, you're going home to get that ice cream in the freezer. Okay, cut off any other visits. Okay. One of my favorites is mushroom compost. A town fairly close to us used to have a mushroom farm, Campbell's owned it, and they would go to people that had horses, racetracks and everything and buy the manure, and they'd grow the mushrooms in it. After a year or so, they're like, we're done with this. It's still great compost. What are we going to do with it? And I know a lady who poured a big concrete pad and said, just bring her on. She started bagging it. She had an end loader. You bring your truck. She'd give you a load of compost, sell you a load of compost. Well, she had a problem. It rained one day. Okay, it rained hard. So all this black juice goes down to the creek and down to the low spot. And there's a guy down there, a farmer, and he's going, what's all this black junk? You know, so weeds are growing nicely. But anyway, he called EPA. They sent a person over. They walked back, and guess what they found? Her compost pile. Okay. They're like, you can't do this. All right. So rather than shut down her business, she dug a big hole, lined it with plastic, and started selling compost tea, liquid compost. She put it in gallon jugs. Now, isn't that creative? See that, I mean, they were going to shut her down, and she's like, I think I can fix this. And she made a whole nother product line out of it. Okay, fantastic idea. Okay. When I was working on my master's degree, I was having trouble with the computer and I would call and, we live out in the country. And the guy was like, click on the blue box on the top left of your screen. I'm like, there's no blue box. He goes, top left. I'm like, I'm looking top left. No, right from left. There's no blue box on the screen. He goes, you want to dial up? I'm like, yeah. He goes, and I'm like, how am I going to finish my master's degree? And I was talking to a fellow student, okay, and she and her husband ran a gas station. And she said, I think I got the answer for you. She said, go to our gas station and connect to the internet using this phone number and use this password, okay? And it was their gas pumps where you put the card in and the gas pump calls for credit card verification and approval, okay? I finished my master's degree by submitting through her gas pumps. Okay, that is a network, right? If I didn't know her, I don't know that I could have gotten my master's degree. Maybe, maybe not. I probably would have found a way. But, the kids that worked in the gas company, that crazy guy's back again, sitting over there at the, in the middle of the room doing something, doing the homework. But that network connection that I had allowed me something that I couldn't have done otherwise. Okay. Now I need to speed things up here. So, all right. When I was in the senior photography business, I thought I need to get these kids' attentions. So I'll have a pizza party and I'll have a drawing and I'll give away a free TV. Anybody going away to college? I mean, they should have a portable TV, right? And it was, so, no big deal. So I thought, I need to give away something bigger. So I go to the local Honda dealer and I'm like, what's the cheapest motorcycle you got? And he goes, well, about $900. And I said, well, what if I put your name on all my ads and I'm gonna send out to all these, I think I was mailing to like 15,000 seniors at the time. So I put your name on there. This came from you. And so he sold me this for $600. So I had a drawing, gave away the motorcycle. Ho-hum. And I'm like, what do these kids want? What will excite them? So let's do a brand new car. I can't afford to give away a brand new car. And so I go to my Chevrolet dealer friend and I'm like, Geo Metro is about the cheapest you got, isn't it? He goes, yeah. And I said, how much? He said, I can sell you one for $6,000. Man, that's a little out of my marketing budget. How can I do this? Okay. So here's how I did it. I contacted a bunch of other photographers not in my market area and said, would it get your seniors' attentions if you gave them a car? Put them in for a drawing to win a free car? And, oh yeah. So give me $600. I'll take pictures of the car and send to you. I'll everything. Then you send me your slips with names, addresses, and all that. I'll put them all in this box. I have a huge box. I got 12 photographers to send me $600 to give away a free car. So now what my car cost me? I already profited $1,200 and had a free car, right? I got $7,200 to give away a $6,000 car. Should have sold it to more photographers, shouldn't I? Yeah. Okay, make sure they weren't in my marketing area, but that got everybody's attention. And other photographers that didn't know what I did. How would we be giving away a car? It's just a car. Okay, so there are things that we can do. We need to think things through. Okay. On here. Okay, on some of these innovations, some of them were questionable. Kodak, good grief, being a photographer, I watched Kodak really closely. I don't think they've made a good decision since the 80s. I'm serious. All the dumb stuff they've done, smart stuff they've not done, it is just incredible. Do you remember New Coke? That didn't last very long, did it? Chrysler PT Cruiser, they did the big survey and thought, boy, this is going to be the hot thing for teens. The surfboard on top, that sort of thing. And who ended up buying PT Cruisers? People like me. They remembered back when the surfboards. I mean, little old ladies were driving PT Cruisers. Teenagers, it wasn't their thing. They totally missed it. DeLorean, underfinanced. Crystal Pepsi. I love Pepsi, but it's gotta have some color. Come on. I don't want clear Pepsi. Anybody think of another one? Lots of them out there, aren't there? Okay, let's keep moving here. The big thing is take action now, take some kind of action. Confucius and Zig Ziglar said, if you chase two rabbits, you'll catch neither. Okay, so the idea was concentrate on one thing, okay, give it your best, knock it out of the park. Okay, but if you've got more than one idea, what do? You choose one and you go. But I've rethought this a little bit. Two, is there something we could do to catch more than one rabbit? Okay, rather than to just pick one and chase it, maybe I could set some traps. Okay, and residual income, set up things to where they just keep buying and buying and buying, and it's on auto. Like the art guy, he's not drawing more pictures. You know, he has those to sell. He probably is drawing more to broaden his market, but you can set those traps and get a little wider in that. Okay. Now, including me, choose your advisors carefully. There's a real famous guy that says never, never, never borrow money. Do you think that's good advice? You know, if you can pull that off, but I don't think so. I mean, look at what I did. I never would have had a house if I hadn't borrowed money. I wouldn't have been in business if I hadn't borrowed money. The thing is to be aware of the cost of that money and, you know, how are you going to pay it back and you know, be careful is what I'm saying. But I think that it's a tool that you use it wisely. And something else to keep in mind, I like saying this, poor people pay more for stuff than rich people do. Is that fair? Okay, rich people write a check for $250,000 home. Okay, no interest, no payments, pretty sweet. Okay, if you $250,000 house, 5% for 30 years, that's $1,342 and a nickel every month for 360 months. You've paid $483,138 for that $250,000 house. Okay, but keep in mind, there's always some kind of exception. What could you do with that money otherwise? Could the rich person who paid in full, could they have invested it more wisely? Could they invest it and got more interest than what that loan would be? That sort of thing. So keep an open mind, work through it. You know, we talked a little bit about jobs versus entrepreneurship. The copyrights and patents, you know, those things expire. And I know there are companies out there going, go down to the patent office and see what's expired that we could make $10 million on this year. You know, they're searching those expired patents and expired copyrights and that sort of thing. Copyrights last 7 years after the author's death, patents 20 years in most cases. There are exceptions, so you know, figure out, do some research, and see what you can come up with. But if you have no ideas, go find one. Take an older book like Think and Grow Rich and do a commentary on it. You know, the highlights of Think and Grow Rich, and go from there. Where do we get ideas? Customer comments, customer complaints. Even young people should be looking at AARP. Okay, AARP. Are you serious? Yeah, look at Grandma and Grandpa's magazines. Let's see. That's not a good month. Find the Best Financial Planner, Fraud in Family Practice, Stressed, How Age Gives Us a Secret Weapon When Life Gets Rough. This is every other month. This is on every other month. How to Beat Inflation, Lower Cost Baking, apps that save you money, electric cars, can you trust them? Should you buy one? Crypto crooks, more crime linked to cybercurrency, can't sleep. What's at stake within your state concerning Congress? 90 great ways to save. I mean, do you have to be 60 to learn from these? No, there's good stuff in here. I use Success Magazine. If y'all don't get this, you need to get this. Okay, this is a great one. Here's one of my favorites, How to Scale. The creator of an award-winning app levels up. Put distractions aside to achieve your goals. Rejuvenating destinations for work and play. And Wall Street Journal is a great thing. You can catch the news worldwide is highlights down through here, and business and finance is down through here. There are all kinds of ads in here though, with current things, new products, that sort of thing. And one of the big things is to take action now, get to moving. I'll tell you about one thing that I invented, okay, is I had trouble opening an envelope. Somebody had taped it on all corners. I'm like, wouldn't it be neat if there was just a string on there and you could just pull it and open the envelope? I invented that. But you know, I didn't do anything with it. I didn't take action. So I walk in the post office and what do they have? When you seal this thing, you pull the string and it comes open. There went my invention. Okay, didn't take action. Okay, you need to take action. And now, of course, I mean, they're even scoring boxes, so you push your thumb in there and just open like that. All those things are little ideas that have made somebody some money. Questions yet? Okay. Now, let's see. We're doing good. Now, big deal, okay, is give yourself permission to fail. Okay, and this is going to wrap it up. I've got a little video clip here. Okay, 251. This is Taylor Swift getting the iHeartRadio Innovators Award. I've never even thought of her as an innovator, but listen to what she's got to say. It's interesting. Sounds like a
But I do want to say that the thing with these exciting nights and moments, and specifically this award that I'm so lucky to have gotten, is that, you know, they're shining a light on the choices I made that worked out, right? The ones that turned out to be good ideas, but I really, really want everyone to know, especially young people, that the hundreds or thousands of dumb ideas that I've had are what led me to my good ideas. You have to give yourself permission to fail. I try as hard as I can not to fail because it's embarrassing, but I do give myself permission to, and you should too. So go easy on yourselves and just make the right choices that feel right for you. And someday someone might think that you've been innovative. Thank you so much for that.
questions? That's all I've got. I'm empty. Okay.